Go.
Hey folks, welcome to the 2025 ÖTILLÖ Swimrun season. My name is Lars Finanger. I'm one of the race directors for the North American Series. We're joined by Aaron Pallion. I'm in Texas right now. Aaron's over in Michigan. But hey, welcome to 2025. We can't be more excited to get our season kicked off here in 1 week. ÖTILLÖ Catalina, that's what everyone's signed up here for. Let's tonight what we're going to do is we're going to dive into the program for next week. We're giving everyone 1 week to kind of put the final touches on getting ready. This race in particular, we think have a little bit more, there's some more logistical planning that needs to go into it. And so, Aaron, why wait?
Yeah.
Let's just kick it right over to you, right?
Yeah.
Aaron, talk about the schedule, talk about the plans, talk about the ferries, talk about how families can get out there, all the things that you are a maestro of. Go for it.
So thanks, Lars. Like he said, we're happy to see you guys. Can't wait for this the weekend after this one. So first of all, thank you for your patience. We know we've changed some things, especially with the ferry. A lot of that's been out of our control, and for the most part, out of people's control that live in California too. So we appreciate your understanding and patience on that. We have solidified it. That email did go out a day ago, just kind of letting you guys know. We did add a friends and family option to it. So I'm just going to go over all that real quick. So as an athlete, when you registered, there was a mandatory box you checked that was an add-on. You didn't have a choice. It charged you an extra $60 to help cover the ferry, the round trip ferry ticket. You guys get to go out there. Okay. So in the email, I did say complimentary. That was meant for the volunteers. Your guys isn't really complimentary. You paid for it during registration, but it is included. It's already taken care of. You don't need to purchase another ticket. That being said, we did get a lot of emails from people that because the island company isn't running a public ferry yet from Avalon over to Two Harbors, and the public ferry from the mainland comes over way after our start, everyone wanted to know, what do we do about spectators or friends and family? And so it took us a little bit to work through that and find a solution, but we did, and that was included in the email too, but I'll mention that. Our solution was rerouting the big ferry from the mainland that's taking off out of San Pedro, not Long Beach, San Pedro. That ferry, after it loads up from San Pedro with athletes, volunteers, staff, and friends and family, that's going to head over to Avalon. And in Avalon, when it docks, that will be loading and the Cyclone will be loading. The Cyclone has about 100 people that can fit, the other one 250. So by adding that stop on the Duchess instead of going straight to Two Harbors, we're now able to accommodate a total of about 350 people, which means now we can take friends and family over up to, I think it's 125, 150 people. So that's why we did that, how we did that. All right. So the email I sent out a day or two ago, that has a link in it. And on the website under the accordion where the ferries are and where the schedule is, which I'll show you in a minute, there's a link on there directly to purchase friends and family tickets. If you need to do that, you click that link and if they can either register themselves or you can register for them. But when they register or you do, it needs to be in the name of the person that is the friends or family claiming that ticket. As an athlete, don't put your name in when it's meant for someone else. And if that happens, please email me and let me know so I can help you fix it. That will be a problem. So every person that is a friends or family that needs a ticket needs to buy a ticket. We have 3 levels of tickets. We have one for adults, we have one for teens, and then we have one also, or I'm sorry, adults and teens are one, then youth is one, and then small children is another. So you can go on there, you can check it out. All of them include a meal ticket as well. And real quick about the meals, because we haven't discussed that. This is for everyone. In your packet as an athlete, you're going to get a black Tyvek wristband that says, or I'm sorry, it's yellow, not black, yellow. It says food and drink on it. Friends and family and volunteers, you will also get the same yellow one. Everyone that has a ticket over, however they have it, get a yellow food and drink. We are going to cut that off you when you enter the food and drink line to get it. That way we know if you don't have a wristband, you don't get food. We realize when you race, you may not wear that. We're telling you you should, but if you leave it in your bag and you can't find it later, there's really nothing we can do, guys. You have to have that on you. So keep that in mind. All right. So back to the ferry. I'll get to the schedule in a minute, but how we're going to check people in, whether this is on Avalon and you just need a ride over to Two Harbors, or whether that's all the way from the mainland over. If you're an athlete, it's real simple. You're going to show your bib we give you. That gets you on real quick, and a majority of you won't be in line. It's super fast. If the handful of you that are getting your packet that morning on the ferry, just let me know. I have them right there. We'll work that out. For the rest of you, if you're a volunteer, we're going to check you in as a volunteer on our phones because there's very few of you that are getting on, but we can do that. That'll check you in. And for those of you that bought a ticket, friends and family, you will be emailed the QR code. You will show that when you get on. We'll scan it. That's how we're checking you in. So volunteers will be by name. We'll check you in. And friends and family by QR code. That goes for both locations. On the way back, same procedure for volunteers and for friends and family. For athletes, you're not going to have your bibs because we collect those. You will show your finisher's medal you get instead. If by chance you don't have it, there's a number of other ways we can tell that you're an athlete getting back on the boat. I wouldn't worry too much, but try to have that medal so it goes really quick. All right, so those are the basics of that. I am going to share my screen now with you. Okay, Lars, you can see that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so guys, this is the ÖTILLÖ website. Under races, I click Catalina. This is where I am. So just to clear this up, this one's a little different from the other ones because there's so much info. Under race details here, these are basically dead buttons. All the details that would have been under here, the jump to buttons can take you down, or you can scroll down. Race info at the bottom of that page is this accordion, if you haven't seen this yet, okay? So all the information you need is under here. I'm not going to go over anything really on here except for the ferry info, which I already did. So I'm going to say the schedule of events is my next thing I'm talking about, okay? So packet pickup. Let's talk about that first. The day before, we're going to have your packets ready for you in 2 different locations. When you registered, you selected during registration where you were staying. The 3 choices you had were Long Beach, which is where packet pickup, although San Pedro is where you're boarding the ferry on race morning. Long Beach at Gladstone's, the address is right here, is where we're going to have packet pickup on the mainland from 1 to 4 for anyone on the mainland, okay? You are required, if you're on the mainland, to get it during that time. If you cannot make that, you absolutely cannot, you need to email me and let me know, and I will have your packet for you as you board the boat in San Pedro that morning. Same goes for the other location in Avalon. If you're staying in Avalon and you selected that at packet pickup, your packet will be in Avalon for you at Hotel Metropole with Christine from 2 to 7 on Saturday, okay? If you can't get that, you can also email me. But know that if you're in those locations and you cannot get your packet on Saturday, we will have those leftover packets on the ferry going to the island or to Two Harbors. So you will be able to get them. I would not panic there, okay? So that's how you're going to do that for packet pickup. This race is a little different. You're going to show up. We will have pre-stuffed almost everything for the most part. I'll hand you a bag, and you might have to get like the bigger items down the line, like maybe your shirt, and if you rented a wetsuit or whatever, we'll let you know, okay? So that is packet pickup. I'm going to email you a QR code. You will have that with you. You will show that to myself or Christine during those times, and we will scan it in for you. If you think that you selected the wrong thing during packet pickup, feel free to email me over the next few days, and I will double check for you, or if you need to change it. Maybe you selected that you were staying in Two Harbors and you're not, you're staying at Avalon or whatever. I can switch that. That is important because we will have the packet where you selected you're going to be. If that happens to be a mistake and we don't have your packet there because you forgot and we didn't change whatever we needed to for you, don't panic. We will still have all the packets by the time the race starts. You could get it last minute if you absolutely had to, okay? All right, so that's enough about packet pickup. You can pick up for somebody else. Family member can pick up for you. You can pick up for your whole team. We recommend teams pick up together. So if there's any issue, we can fix that. We can fix some things on site. If you need to downgrade or upgrade, we can do that. But please try to get that information to me ahead of time. All right. So going down to the ferries, I already talked about how that works, what we offer, how you're going to board, all of that. So let's just talk about the schedule. On the mainland, the Duchess, Catalina Classic Cruises. That is different from Catalina Express. Catalina Express is the public ferry. That has nothing to do with this. Mainland Ferry Duchess is Catalina Classic Cruises. They are in that same area, though, that the Catalina Express is in San Pedro. That will begin boarding at 4 a.m. on Sunday. Be there as early as possible. That will board for a half hour. It will leave at 4:30. If you are not on the boat by 4:30, we will do a last call and we are gone. So get there at 4 if you're worried about it. Okay. So we'll depart for Avalon from San Pedro. That will be our first stop. That takes about a half hour to get there. You will arrive in Avalon around 6 o'clock. We will instantly start boarding. No one gets off. We will board as many people as we can. That's whether it's volunteers, athletes, friends and family. We will board until that boat is full, and then anyone left will go on the Cyclone. There may be a slight possibility that if there are rougher waves or bad weather, which it doesn't look like there's going to be, but just to put it in your head, if that occurs, the only thing we might do is we might transition everyone that is a friends and family member over to the Cyclone. That way we have everyone, volunteers, staff, and athletes on the Duchess, the big boat. But that is not what we're aiming for. We're just going to load up until it's full, overflow onto the Cyclone. That's the plan, okay? So then we're loaded up in Avalon with everyone on both of the ferry boats that we're taking. We're loaded up by 6:30. And you see that below here on the Cyclone. That boards at 6 in Avalon, and 6:30, that's rolling out just like we are for the Duchess. If anything changes there and the Cyclone has to load a little later, we'll let you know. But as of now, that's the plan. Everyone leaves at 6:30. The Cyclone is faster and smaller. It should arrive in 2 harbors and unload prior to the Duchess. But we're going to say we arrive in 2 harbors and we're unloaded. We arrive in 2 harbors and we're unloaded around 7:30 for both of the boats, just to keep it simple. We're unloaded by 7:40, 7:45. We start the race at 8 o'clock. That's simple, okay? The race happens. We're going to skip down to the race here. You see that this starts at 8 a.m. right there, okay? All races start at 8. Hard cutoff at 5 p.m. at the finish, because our boat, our ferries, both of them, will leave from 2 harbors departing for Avalon by 5:45. So if everyone's for sure finished by 5, that leaves us just enough time to clean up those bare necessities we have and for you to get over to those boats, okay? So hard cutoff at 5 at the finish. We're boarding starting at 5:15, and we're going to leave 2 harbors for Avalon, both boats, at 5:45. Both boats will arrive around 6:45 in Avalon and unload, and the Cyclone will stay there. That's done because that's where it's housed. But the Duchess will leave from there at 7 o'clock for San Pedro. So you're returning whatever boat you used to get there, you're taking the same boat back, or you're at least stopping at the same destination that you started from. So you're going all the way back to San Pedro, and that'll be about 9:15 that gets into San Pedro. So here's the only thing I want to say about the schedule before I pass this over to Lars, is that there is a public ferry. And Lars, can you cut in real quick and say what those times are that public ferry leaves on Sunday for San Pedro?
Yep. So there is a public ferry, like Aaron said, that is the Catalina Express. And the first one is 11:45 departure. And our staff member, Dominic, will be going on that one because he has to get back to Switzerland. And then there's also...
That's straight back. That one doesn't stop on Avalon, right?
That one is straight back, and then there's a 4:45. In the 4:45, according to the schedule, says it goes through Avalon before going back to San Pedro.
Okay.
And those will be on you. We do not cover that. That's a public ferry, so you would have to cover the fee if you need to take that.
So all the tickets that we've talked about for our ferries are covered under what you pay, whether it's when you register or free for volunteers or the purchase of the tickets for friends and family. That's a round trip ticket from where you start back to where you came from. Okay. But like Lars said, if you have to get off earlier and take a one-way back using that public ferry, you have to figure out that schedule, get yourself there, pay for that. Keep in mind too, if you're from Avalon and you're taking that, you're going to have to bring luggage with you because they're not going to stop for you and wait for you to go get your luggage and all that kind of stuff if you're going back to the mainland from Avalon. So keep that in mind. Okay. Anything else ferry or schedule wise you want to add to this before I pass it off to you, Lars?
No, I mean, just folks, you can obviously see this is a logistical beast, this race. And Aaron, myself, Christine, JR, all of us, we've been working
Krista.
tirelessly. Trista, Marcus, we've been working tirelessly trying to make the most seamless, logistical plan for you guys. Hey, the cost of doing business out in Catalina, this is what it is. So the great part is that this is the chaotic part. The race, Two Harbors, is absolute swim run paradise. And so hopefully once that gun goes off, you've got all of this in the rear view mirror.
Before it's officially passed off, guys, we can always use more volunteers. So on this accordion, you can sign up right here through the volunteering. You get a shirt, you get a meal, you get a ride over there on the ferry. Friends and family, hey, if you volunteer and put in the time, you can get away with not paying the fee for that ticket. If you volunteer, we pay that. So if you're willing to dedicate some of your time out on the course or whatever, we still have openings for that.
Yeah, but Aaron, you forgot to say we're going to work them hard though.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as a free meal.
Remember that wetsuits are mandatory. A lot of you have rented through us, but make sure you have those. The water is cold. We do use it as an extra safety thing. You guys, it's flotation, it's everything. So there's other mandatory gear you can look over, but I just want to mention the wetsuits. If you rented one, we'll have those either in your packet or for you to get right there at packet pickup. If you're picking it up on the ferry that morning or whatever, or you're in Two Harbors and we're bringing it to you that morning, we will have those wetsuits there. So don't worry about that. So Lars, without further ado, I'm going to make this map bigger.
Yeah, thanks. And I forgot before we turned it over how intense the travel portion is that you had to go through. But now let me take a step back just to once again say, guys, we cannot really express how excited we are to get this season going. Swim Run is a logistical, takes a lot of logistical planning, both from the travel aspect and also now we're going to go through it, the racing aspect as well. You see a lot of contours on this map. Catalina is a formidable race to start the season with. It's a tough one. But like I said a couple minutes ago, it's an absolute stunning venue. Incredible terrain, incredibly clear swims. We're very excited to get this sucker going. So, Aaron, thanks for going through the painful logistical parts. And now for the fun part, we get to talk about race day. So we do have 3 distances, as you guys know well: the Experience, the Sprint, the World Series. The most up-to-date maps are on the website. So I'm not going to go over kind of the general view. The Low Tide Boys did a podcast a couple of weeks ago where they go through leg by leg the entire breakdown of the course. So I would refer you to that. I want to talk more about the operational side of things with the course, what to look out for, and just kind of best practices. So as you know, wetsuits are mandatory. So you should know by now, but just in case you've been living underneath a rock, you start everything that you start the race with, you finish the race with. So that means you are swimming and running in your wetsuit. If for some reason you do not have a swim run wetsuit yet, ARC wetsuits will be selling new wetsuits in Avalon on Saturday. So you do have an opportunity to get a swim run wetsuit if you happen to be in Avalon on Saturday. Otherwise, there is the rental program like Aaron mentioned earlier. So that'll make your day and your experience a lot better, though, if you have a swim run wetsuit as opposed to, for example, a triathlon wetsuit. a triathlon wetsuit. So 8 o'clock, we're starting our day. Here's a few of the course markings that you want to look forward to out there on the course. We've got about shin high flags that we put into the ground that are going to mark that'll show you that you're on the right path. They'll be orange in color, and they have a logo. They'll have our ÖTILLÖ logo like this on a sticker. So those will just let you know that you're on the right track. At any major intersection, we will have coroplast signs that have arrows pointing in the direction that you need to go. There are a few portions where the Experience, Sprint, and World Series go in different directions. We'll actually list out the word experience. If experience needs to turn off on a certain section, it'll use the word sprint if sprint follows that direction, and it'll use the word World Series if it's only the World Series portion of the course. If you see a sign that doesn't say any of those words, experience, sprint, or World Series, that means that all courses follow that sign. So just keep that in mind. We call it heads up racing. You do need to race. There aren't course marshals out there or volunteers out there who are telling you left, right, or center, where to go. You and your teammate, or you, if you're racing solo, need to be heads up, make determinations on where you're going on the course. The map that we have up on the website, it does only list out 2 aid stations. That, I would say, is the only part of our map that's incorrect. We have an aid station before you get into every swim leg. And so part of the reason why we do that is with the colder water, we do want to make sure that you're fueled up with, a pH gel, precision hydration gel before you get in, or, well hydrated. But the other reason is we want you, while you're fueling up, to look and know where you're going to be going before you get into the water. It's really important to identify, or to at least know, in which direction you're swimming. The swim exits are marked with big 10-foot teardrop flags. They're also this same orange color. And so that'll showcase where we need you to get out of the swims. In terms of water safety out on the course, you may not oftentimes see them, but we do have, we'll have kayakers out there, and then we'll have motorized boats and a couple jet skiers who are out there as well, providing oversight of you on the course. For some of you who are racing in the solo race, one thing that we, really advise throughout the day is try to link up, or, race in close proximity to someone else who might be about your same speed, just to give a little extra security. But the solo racers, you will race with, you'll have this in your packet. It's a rest tube. The rest tube is your partner, and it has a whistle on it. And if you get into difficulty, you can pull the cord, and an inflatable will pop out, so that any of our rescue staff can see that you're in a little bit of difficulty. You will give that back to us at the finish line as well. For teams out there, it's not mandatory that you use a tether during the race, that you are tethered, but it is mandatory that every team carry a tether. So you do need to have a tether. The reason for that is, Pacific Ocean, it could be pretty rough out there. We need to be able to make the call for a mandatory tether up if the seas are really, really rough. So we do require that you carry that along. A bandage. Every team needs to have a bandage with them. Here's a cool one that ARC has, but just some sort of compression bandage like that to put on, stop the bleeding if, before our medical team who's out there can get to you.
Lars, I get a lot of questions about that.
Not yet. And then collapsible cups. We don't give out plastic cups out on the race course, but we will have cups that you get at packet pickup. And that's something that's a collapsible cup. You can just pull that out of your race kit, fill up with aids at the aid stations. We will also have a foldable flask that you can purchase at packet pickup. And great course to have one of those at because, for example, in the World Series distance, you may be 10 kilometers during your longest run, one aid station in there, but could be a hot and toasty day. You're running in a wetsuit, you're losing a lot of fluids, electrolytes, sweating a lot. It is nice to have water or pH or an electrolyte when you may not think you'll need it, but it's nice to have it just in case. Aaron, go for it.
Okay, just two quick things on that. I get emails about this stuff. The bandage that he showed, if you don't have that one and you don't have enough time to get that specific one, there's two things you can do. Amazon, all of you have, I'm assuming, Prime, you can get quick shipping on it. They have plenty of bandages on there. Maybe use like waterproof compression bandage, something like that. Something to stop the bleeding. And also what you can do is just a roll of gauze with a bandage or some tape, put it in a sandwich bag, get all the air out just like that, and just shove it in somewhere so it's waterproof. I get so many questions about that.
Folks, don't overthink it. This is something,
homemade truly
something. Yeah, homemade is totally fine. It's truly just something that can fit into your wetsuit and can stop the bleeding if you need it. And honestly, the majority of people who we see out there, because cuts, scrapes, bruises, they happen all the time in our swim run races. They just leave them. Yeah. I mean, cold water, it does a really nice job of closing that up pretty quick. So
the collapsible cups, we used to put those in everyone's bag, but now we've known that a lot of people just throw them out, or they say, "Oh my God, I have so many of these. I just bring one with me to every event." So we're not going to assume you need one, but we do have stacks of those orange ones there. I think they're a different color. I can't remember this year, but we'll have a stack of them. If you need one, get one. You can get one per person. Those are free from us, but we will not put them in your bag. Definitely recommend the flask for sure. Yeah, go ahead, Lars.
Okay, so I guess generally let's talk a little bit about this course. So considerable elevation, especially with the sprint distance and the World Series experience. You do have a little bit of elevation, but not nearly as much as in the World Series in the sprint. So the last time that we did this race on Catalina was in 2020, was the last weekend of February, beginning of March. So you are welcome for putting it on about 2 months later. Hopefully things have warmed up a little bit. That was a very chilly race back in 2020. But folks, there are some hills that are out on this course. Do not feel bad if you are forced to do a power hike or a walk. A very typical kind of scene that I saw with a lot of the Europeans, they would put their hands on their quads and hike up the steep hills like that. That could really be a good strategy to help save your quads, versus doing a super slow run up the hill. So my point is, just don't feel like, oh my gosh, my race is over if you're forced to hike or walk. There will be, on a lot of these sections, pretty much everyone in the field doing that exact thing. Now, the uphill is one thing, but there are some equally as steep descents on this course. And the weather conditions are looking pretty good right now, meaning not much rain. But if there is rain, those trails could be extremely slick. You really do need to have like a lightweight trail shoe with really good tread on the bottom on this course. Something that'll grip really well. Those downhills are very, very steep, and you do need to take extra precaution going down those steep descents. And that's pretty much on any of the steeper uphills that you see. There are equally steep descents. I guess I want to talk about a few of the swims. The first swim that everyone will do, which starts at the Two Harbors campground, and it swims to the right. It swims clockwise over to the USC. Aaron, you're going to be going to the right. It swims over to the USC Marine Center right there. That's an example of, you're going to be going in a direction. You're not going to be able to see where you're going to exit when you go into the swim, but you do know, just hug the shoreline, and once you get to about the apex point right there, you'll be able to sight into the into the flag and into the finish of the swim. So there are a few swims like that where you're just going to have to hug the coastline until you can pick up the teardrop flag where you'll exit. The other portion of the course, Aaron, for the World Series, go all the way to the far end of the course at Parsons Landing, all the way over. There you go, that triangle swim. Okay, so this is a good example of a swim where we will have 2 buoys as well on the swim. So basically the points of those triangles. It is the most like a triathlon race that we will have at any of our races right here. You're going to go in from the beach into the water. You're going to swim around one buoy that's at the far upper left point, and then you're going to other way. And it's going to be a clockwise swim. So you're going to go to the left, around the buoy, the far right around the buoy, and then back in. So there'll be 2 buoys and then the way in. I do need to say that is probably the most difficult entry and exit, but especially exit of any of our swim legs that we have. There are quite a few rocks that you could face coming in from that swim that may not be exposed when you're looking, or you may not be able to see them when you're just from eye level. But what I would recommend is how this swim course is coming in at an angle right now. I would actually aim for the beach at kind of from the triangle. I would aim for the furthest spit of beach. So swim straight down from the buoy. That's going to give you the least exposure to rocks, in there. And then just once you get to the beach, just run right back into where that aid station is going to be. That's the furthest point in the course. Then as you make your way back, the other swims are going to be inside of camps that where there's infrastructure and personnel who are there. So that's a cool one. This is Emerald Bay Camp, where you're going to be starting the swim. That is where the marathon swimmers who swim from the Catalina crossing start their swim at, and they start at 10 p.m. at night. But you're going to be starting in what's called Doctor's Cove. You're going to be swimming shoreline around the corner there, and then you're going to be picking up the teardrop flag, which is at that spit of beach straight across the way. For those of you who did this race back in 2020, you'll notice that we have shortened down quite a few of these swims. So, for example, in 2020, you would have kept swimming around that next spit of land as well, and then gotten out where where we get out of this swim. So we have shortened down quite a few of these swims, and we have added a couple swims, which I think is pretty cool. So we're just basically trying to limit your exposure in the potentially cold water. A couple of the swims were nearly an hour long for a lot of teams. And so we're trying to kind of up the flow of the race. So less time in the water and more time where you're kind of leapfrogging swim, run, swim, run, swim, run. Aaron, what else have we not gone over course-wise with markings? Oh, there is some wildlife out on the land in the middle of the island. Catalina is known for the buffalo that came out when they were shooting Hollywood movies back decades ago, and they were left out there, and so they did breed, and there's quite a few buffalo out there. You'll see signs that say don't touch or don't touch or harass the buffalo. Listen to those, please. We are guests on this island. And you'll also see some cute little desert foxes that are out there. Just leave them alone. And the other thing that I've never seen one, but you will see a few signs. Beware of rattlesnakes. So just what you need to be thinking about out there, right? As you're you've got your lungs in your hands, but you're watching your feet anyways. Just steer a few extra feet ahead. Make sure you're not going to step on a rattlesnake out there. Besides that, look, Two Harbors, where the race is, it's a very small island village. My guess is less than 50 people there year round. be a good ambassador for the sport of swim run. Be polite to folks. They're looking out for your best interests out there. And, we want to do the same for them. We want to show them that swim run love. So treat each other well out there on the course. If you see someone who's struggling or needs a hand, please try to help them if you can. And, especially until you can notify a course official or a volunteer so that we can step in. But just look out for one another out there. And pretty much any of the volunteers who are out there, they've got a hard job next Sunday. And just, greet them with a smile and, show them some of that swim run love. But
by the way, volunteers, we do have bright orange shirts with the logo in white across the front. So that's how you can, during the race and after, identify a volunteer. They should have those orange shirts on. We'll get those out to them. So.
Oh, that's cool. And then at the finish line, we are going to have right there at the Two Harbors Grill, you're going to have your post-race meal, and Vivo Barefoot and ARC will both be at the finish line as well. Vivo Barefoot has a couple of their top ambassadors who are out there racing, which is pretty cool. Testing out swim run for the first time. So just have a great time. You're going to have a lot of fun stories. And they're potentially, you might be pretty cold at the finish line. There are some showers that are just about 100 yards away from the finish. And you'll be able to utilize those showers at the finish line as well. So
something I just thought of, should have mentioned it in the beginning, sorry. Luggage and bags and bag check and all that. We don't have an official bag check. If you would like to bring a small bag, backpack that has dry clothes in it, change of clothes, whatever, that's fine. I would say definitely don't put valuables in there. We've really never had an issue with anyone going through bags, but we don't officially watch them or check them in and out. So you do so at your own risk. Make sure you can identify your bag in some way. Carry that with you on the boat. Again, a backpack. If you bring luggage, the only people that should bring luggage are the people that need to catch the mainland ferry back earlier and want to bring their stuff from like Avalon or whatever. We cannot put a lot of baggage or luggage on these boats, so that should not be a thing. But as far as your backpack, you get off the boat in the morning, you've got, let's say, 15, 20 minutes, maybe a half hour before you start. Just hang out, warm up, whatever. But your bag can be set. Lars, if you want to talk about just where they can put that.
Yeah, right along the seating area where the grill is, where you'll be hanging around in the post-race finishing area. And folks, this is a very small, once you get off the dock, the pier there at Two Harbors, everything, start, finish, grill, where the post-race meals are, everything is right within eyesight. So you're going to be able to, it's not like you have to, run a quarter of a mile away to get, no, it's right there, a couple 100 yards away. So just find somewhere where you can stash your bags. It's not totally island time, but we are not going to start the race without you. We're going to give ample announcements over the intercom, that, okay, 10 minutes to go, 5 minutes to go. Just don't feel super stressed getting off the boat. You only have 15 minutes. Like Aaron said, 8 a.m. is when we're starting the races, but if we have to go 5 minutes after that, we'll make that decision. Okay. Just don't feel like you can't get a sip of water, or, you can't go to the bathroom or something like that if you weren't able to. So don't feel like you are totally stressed up against time there.
For those of you that are staying in Two Harbors, a reminder, all of you in Two Harbors, as long as you're not planning on coming to one of the other packet pickups, we are bringing your packet to you. So if you selected Two Harbors, and there's a surprising amount of you that did, I'm going to email again to make sure that all of you truly are staying in Two Harbors. But for those that are, we will have your packet in a small box, and we will have that right when we get off the ferry. You will have less time than everyone else did, obviously, maybe about a half hour or less. But still, you should have enough time. You're just getting your bib out and putting a few things on. You should be all right.
Yeah, Aaron, you said that in a very nice way. I'm going to say it a little more directly. We have about 25 to 30 of you who selected that you're staying in Two Harbors. We don't think that you selected the right thing. there's not enough lodging for that many people to stay in Two Harbors. So unless you're part of the crew who we know booked the Banning House to stay there, or unless you're on the race staff, all the camping was booked out by a Boy Scout troop. So you need to select the right thing. You need to look at what you selected again. Please get in contact with Aaron. There's no way that 30 of you are staying in Two Harbors. It's too small of a place. So please just look at that now in the next couple of days and let us know where in fact you are staying and what your option is going to be.
And that makes our job easier and yours, but we will have all the packets with us. So, I mean, worst case, it's not right. We will have the packet somewhere and be able to get it to you, but it just makes it more frantic for you. So,
yeah. But generally, like we said, we're really excited. This is a challenging course, as you know, and you've been training for. Can't wait. Looking forward to Sunday, and can't wait to see you guys all there.
Yeah. All right. I don't have anything either, and I ditto. So, all right, guys.
Awesome.
We'll see you soon. Take care.
Good night.